In this episode, I'm going to reveal to you a secret that you'll likely think is bullshit and a bit too woo-woo to believe. But still, after this episode is finished, I'm 100% certain that you'll totally alter the words that you use in your conversations, especially the ones to yourself and to your loved ones. Now, this is going to transform your relationship with self-talk absolutely beyond recognition. And I've also got a quote from a doctor at the end of this episode that will reveal a crazy secret that people don't use to live a happy life. Welcome to Success by Design with me, Tom Blackledge, where we focus on the best ideas in self-development, personal development, philosophy, mindset, and personal growth to help us to create our best lives possible. What if I told you that every word you speak is either healing and building you, or it's slowly poisoning you, draining you of your vital life force and energy? What if I said that the way you speak to yourself when nobody's watching is literally shaping your body, your brain, and ultimately your future? It sounds a bit mad, right? And it's likely difficult to digest. I get it, I understand, and I know at one time in my life I would have likely resisted all this information and labelled it as probably a bit too far-fetched. However, there's one thing that we can't argue with, and I'll come back to this point later, that we are all roughly made up of 70% water. Our brain, blood, muscles, our cells are replete with it. Roughly 70% of you isn't you, it's liquid. So now what if I told you that there's scientific evidence that water changes shape based on the energy that you give it? Now, obviously, water changes when we impact it. If we were to hit water, drop a stone in it, we alter it. It splashes, it might make ripples, but I'm not talking about that kind of energy. What I'm talking about is something totally different. Part 1, Dr. Emoto. I've spoken frequently on this podcast and in all my coaching roles about the importance of the words that we speak. Not only to others, but even more importantly, how we speak to ourselves. Years and years ago, I came across a book that showed me and shows us how important those words that we speak truly are. It shows how the intention of what we say and how we say it secretly impacts us. So let's start with a man called Dr. Masaru Emoto. He was a Japanese researcher who made a startling discovery about words and the energy that those words emit. He took samples of water and he spoke to them all whilst in jars. Some he spoke to kindly. Words like, thank you, I love you, you're beautiful. Others he verbally abused. Words like, you disgust me, I'll kill you, you make me sick. Then he froze the water samples and he photographed the crystals under a microscope. The kind words, the water froze into beautiful symmetrical snowflake-like patterns. But the hateful words, the crystals were all chaotic, broken and ugly. He didn't just rely on the spoken word in these tests either. He also wrote words down on pieces of paper and he placed them on the jars. Now, as amazing as all that is, how does that actually affect us? Well, like I said earlier, if water is changed for the better or worse by words and energy, and it responds in a positive or negative manner, and we're 70% water, then what could our words be doing to us on a level that we can't even see? Think about that for a second. How impactful is that thought? How does it make you feel thinking about your current inner dialogue? Part 2, you're a walking conversation. The truth is, you don't become who you want to be. You become who you say you are consistently. Most people are walking around repeating crappy affirmations and concreting the limiting beliefs and unknowingly falling into a well of self-pity all day long. They come out with statements like, I can't catch a break. I'm just not built that way. I can't do that. It always goes wrong for me. I'm not confident. I hate the way I look. I need to change this about myself. They come out with all these comments and then they wonder why they feel anxious and weak, depressed and overwhelmed. Come on, it's obvious. You're hypnotizing yourself into believing all these things. You're literally creating all of these things into your own reality. We all have an inner dialogue running 24/7. And the biggest issue for most of the people is that the majority of it is negative and limiting. And then our bodies just sit there, listening, soaking it all up and changing negatively. It listens. It takes the orders that we give it, and then it builds your reality around what it hears most often. If you're constantly sending water through your system with fear, doubt, guilt, and criticism, what kind of body do you think you're building? What kind of mindset are you programming? What kind of life are you creating? And this is why real positive self-talk isn't cheesy or bullshit. It's actually really important. What we say literally creates our world. In Fearless by Design, I write about the importance of being mindful of what you watch. How crappy TV shows that are filled with drama, or the news filled with sadness and fear and harrowing stories, deeply affect us and on our perspectives on life. Interestingly, Dr. Emoto says something similar in his book, and he writes, "Why do so many people get enjoyment from watching mean-spirited television shows and hearing malicious gossip about celebrities, when what they really get out of this is a bad vibration rather than true enjoyment? When you expose yourself unnecessarily to unhappy vibrations, you put your own happiness at risk." Part 3. The miracle you ignore every day. Water is miraculous, even without considering its ability to absorb energy. When I was a kid, I was a massive fan of Bruce Lee growing up. And so, through my admiration of his martial arts prowess, I got introduced to the philosophy of Taoism through his own philosophical teachings. Now, water is a central metaphor in Taoist philosophy. It's seen as the perfect embodiment of the Tao. It's soft, adaptable, yet undeniably powerful. But what really struck me, especially after learning about Dr. Emoto's work, was how Taoism understood water's depth long before microscopes existed. The idea that something so gentle could hold memory, respond to energy, and still shape stone over time, it made me realize that water isn't just a physical element. It's a mirror for how we live, how we speak, how we think. It absorbs what we give it, and so do we. Think about this. For thousands of years, across cultures and religions, we've known intuitively that water isn't just this physical object. It's sacred. Holy water is blessed. They bless the water, and then people anoint themselves with it, drink it, bathe in it, believing that it holds divine energy. Now, whether you're religious or not, that should make you pause. Why water? Because deep down we've always known it. It carries something more than just H2O. It carries intention and belief and vibration. And now science, seemingly, is catching up with what the ancient traditions always practiced. Now, I think many of us take water for granted. And if the musings of the economists are correct, we won't have that option for much longer, as many of them are seeing water as the next major global asset. But irrespective of that, we should be mindful of understanding the importance water holds. So here's a task that you can trial this week. But I'm betting you'll probably want to do it on the quiet if you're concerned about what people might think of you, right? But how about if you bless your water? What about if you speak to it and you whisper it sweet nothings? What if you told it all the nice things? It doesn't have to be in any kind of religious way, just in a simple communication way. You could be saying, "This water energizes every cell of me. I am grateful. You are fantastic. You complete me." Whatever it is that you want to say. Part 4, speak life. So let's step back a little from the water and look at the words that we speak, as this is the true message I want to pass today. There's no question about how important our words are. The impact they have is obvious. So let's start with performing a language audit. And this is a phenomenal training tool that I am happily giving you for free, because I know for a fact what kind of impact it will have on your life. For one day, I want you to track every negative thing that you say. Not just out loud, or to other people internally too. The things you say to yourself. Either write them in a little pad or open your notes app on your phone and use that each time. Write it. Every time. You'll be shocked at how many times you speak bad or negatively about yourself or even about someone else. Now, after a little while, as you become accustomed to distancing yourself just a little bit and you start recording what was said, you can then begin to flip it. We can change that negative into a positive. Now, be kind. Not like fake positivity. Don't pretend, but employ a truthful upgrade. One that's like going from I'm stuck and stupid to I'm figuring this out and I'm blessed to have these opportunities to learn. Or maybe you say, like, I hate my body, but change it when you see and realize and step back and I'm working on my health and I am grateful to have the body that I have. Part 5, Stoicism and the inner vibration. Now, obviously, if I get the opportunity to bring Stoicism into this podcast, I am going to shoehorn it in at any available opportunity. Now, you see, the Stoics were all over this idea, even without microscopes and lab coats. Marcus Aurelius said, the soul becomes dyed with the colour of its thoughts. He and they knew that your internal world shapes your outer one. They knew that emotions can be disciplined and that your judgments become your reality. Now, if you combine that with what Emoto's work suggests, your thoughts don't just colour your soul. They ripple through your cells. They pass through your nervous system, through that 70% of you that's water. In closing. So what's the conclusion today? Water responds to energy. Words carry energy. You are mostly water. That means that you are shaping yourself with every sentence, every belief, and every repeated thought. Now, I'm going to finish this episode with a quote taken from Dr. Emoto. He said, in the book, I am often asked, what words did you use to create the most beautiful crystal you've ever photographed? And my answer, without hesitation, is always love and gratitude. To apply this lesson to our own lives, if we hope to use this powerful energy as a guiding force, then just the energy resulting from only giving is not enough. And neither is the energy resulting from only taking. Only when love and gratitude are combined and balanced will they create a beautiful life for us. Now, if you're after the book is called The Miracle of Water. It's an old book. You can find it anywhere in bookshops. Now, if you enjoyed this content, please comment, share, subscribe to the channel, and send it to a couple of your friends. And if you want to have a little binge on all of the previous episodes, click on the link this side. And now, remember, don't wait for someone else to talk you into greatness. Speak it into yourself every single day, because words don't just describe your life. Your words will design it. Now, you've been listening to Success by Design with me, Tom Blackledge, and I will see you next week. Take care.